5 years ago, Luna disappeared without a trace, taking with her a secret that could destroy everything. Now, on a stifling night, Levi finally finds her. He corners her against the wall of a rundown club, his body pressed against hers, his hot breath grazing her neck. "Did you really think you could vanish and erase me from your skin?" His voice is a dangerous whisper. Luna trembles, not from fear, from desire, from longing. From everything she tried to bury that now pulses between them like an open wound. He still wants her. She never stopped wanting him. But between them lies a truth that could set everything ablaze, or finally bring them together for good. If this story has already made your heart race, subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Your support helps us bring you more intense romances like this one. Comment and let us know where you're listening from. We love knowing who's on the other side. And now, get ready, because this story is going to consume you. Night descended over the coastal town like a veil of secrets. The air was heavy, thick with salt and broken promises. The narrow streets exhaled the scent of sea breeze mixed with the sweet perfume of jasmine flowers hanging from old walls. It was the kind of place people went to disappear, and Luna had done exactly that 5 years ago. The club sat at the end of a dimly lit alley, where red paper lanterns swayed lazily in the warm breeze. Music escaped through the cracks in the door, like a forbidden invitation. Deep bass that pulsed in the chest of anyone who came near. Inside, bodies moved between shadows and amber lights, faces partially hidden, identities temporarily forgotten. Levi stopped at the entrance. His eyes swept across the room with the precision of a predator. 5 years. 5 years of searching, of private investigators, of sleepless nights staring at the ceiling wondering where she was, if she was alive, if she thought about him, if she hated him as much as he tried to hate her. But hatred was never what he felt. It was something worse, something that burned inside and wouldn't go out. And then he saw her. Luna was in the corner of the bar, half hidden in the shadows. Her dark hair fell over her shoulders in waves he knew by heart. Her golden skin glowed softly under the dim light. She wore a simple black dress that hugged her body like a second skin, and held a glass with delicate fingers, the same fingers that once traced lines across his chest while whispering that she loved him. Levi's heart stopped, then raced. She looked different, thinner, more cautious. There was something in her shoulders, a permanent tension, as if she were always ready to run. But it was her, no doubt. He would recognize that profile anywhere in the world in any lifetime. Luna raised the glass to her lips, and in that moment, as if feeling the weight of his gaze crossing the room, her eyes lifted. The world stopped. Green met brown, past met present, and between them, 5 years of silence exploded like shattered glass. Luna went pale. The glass trembled in her hand. She stood up in a jerky movement, almost knocking over the stool, and started moving toward the back exit. But Levi was faster. He crossed the room like a silent storm. Bodies moved out of his way without him having to ask. There was something in his posture, in the broad shoulders, the locked jaw, the dark eyes that didn't blink, that made people step back on instinct. Luna pushed through the back door and out into the alley. The hot night air wrapped around her but brought no relief. Her heart was beating so hard she could hear it in her ears. Her heels echoed on the cobblestone ground as she tried to reach the main street. She didn't make it. A strong hand grabbed her arm and spun her around. Her back hit the brick wall. And suddenly, Levi was there, so close she could feel the heat of his body, the woody scent he always wore, the heavy breathing that made his chest rise and fall. His eyes devoured her. Anger, pain, desire, all mixed in a storm she couldn't decipher. Luna. His voice was low, rough, dangerous. She tried to pull away. "Let me go, you're confusing me with someone else." "Don't lie to me." He moved closer, his body pressing hers against the wall. The hand holding her arm slid to her waist, fingers spreading over the thin fabric of her dress. "You think I wouldn't recognize you anywhere? That I wouldn't sense you from a mile away?" Luna held her breath. His touch burned through the dress. Every nerve ending in her body awakened, treacherous, responding to him the way it always had. "Levi!" The name escaped before she could stop it. A bitter smile crossed his lips. So you still remember my name? Please. Her voice failed. Let me go. He tilted his head, bringing his lips close to her ear. His hot breath caressed her skin, sending shivers down her spine. Did you really think you could vanish and erase me from your skin, Luna? She closed her eyes. His scent invaded her. Sandalwood, leather, something essentially masculine that always made her lose her mind. Memories came in waves, his hands on her body, whispers in the early morning hours, promises made between tangled sheets. I had to leave, she murmured. Why? Silence. Levi pulled back just enough to look into her eyes. His hand moved up, fingers tracing the line of her jaw with a softness that contrasted with the intensity of his gaze. 5 years, Luna. 5 years waking up every day wondering where you were. If you were safe. If you were with another man. If you laughed with him the way you laughed with me. Levi, you destroyed me. The words came out broken. You just disappeared. Without a note, without an explanation, as if what we had meant nothing. Her eyes filled with tears. It meant everything. Then why did you run? She looked away. She couldn't tell him. Not now. Maybe never. There were things he couldn't know. Truths that would change everything, that would put him in danger, that would destroy what little remained between them. Levi grabbed her chin, forcing her to face him. His eyes were dark, stormy, full of a pain she had caused and that now tore through her own chest. I looked for you in every city, in every country. I spent a fortune on investigators. I didn't sleep. I didn't live. I couldn't touch another woman because every time I closed my eyes it was you I saw. A tear rolled down Luna's face. Levi wiped it away with his thumb, the touch so gentle it hurt. You're still mine, he whispered. You know that. I don't belong to anyone. Liar. He moved closer. His lips hovered over hers, so close she could feel the heat, the desire, the promise of a kiss that didn't come. Your body is trembling, Luna. Your heart is racing. I can feel it. She was lost. His scent clouded her thoughts. The heat of his body dissolved her defenses. Her hands, which should have pushed him away, grabbed his shirt, pulling him closer. For a moment, a single moment suspended in time, they stayed like that. Breath against breath, hearts in sync. 5 years of distance evaporating in the hot night air. Then, in the distance, a phone rang. Luna blinked. Reality came back like a bucket of cold water. She pushed Levi hard and broke free, running toward the street before he could react. Levi stood in the alley, breathing heavily, fists clenched. She had escaped again. But this time was different. This time, he knew exactly where she was, and he wasn't going to let her run again. 3 days had passed since the encounter in the alley. 3 days in which Luna barely slept, barely ate, barely breathed right. Every shadow at the window made her jump. Every sound of an engine on the street made her run to check if Pax was safe in his room. She knew Levi would come. It wasn't a question of if, but when. The house she rented was on a quiet street, away from downtown. It was small, simple. White walls, light wood furniture, linen curtains that swayed with the sea breeze. The kind of place where a woman with a fake name could raise a child in peace. Or at least that's what Luna believed until that night at the club. Pax slept in the back bedroom. 4 years old, dark hair like hers. But his eyes were a deep brown that haunted her every time the boy looked at her. They were his father's eyes. Levi's eyes. Luna was in the kitchen when she heard the knock at the door. Firm, determined. The kind of knock that doesn't accept being ignored. Her heart raced. She dried her hands on the dish towel and walked slowly to the entrance. For a moment she considered not opening it, pretending she wasn't there, grabbing Pax and running out the back window. But she was tired of running. She opened the door. Levi stood there, lit only by the yellowish porch light. He wore a black shirt with the sleeves rolled up to his elbows, exposing his strong forearms. His jaw was tense, his dark eyes fixed on her with an intensity that made her step back. "Can I come in?" It wasn't a request. It was a statement. Luna moved aside, giving him passage. Levi entered and his scent invaded the house. sandalwood and something citrusy she had never been able to forget. He looked around, absorbing every detail: the children's drawings on the fridge, the toys in the corner of the living room, the photos on the shelf. He stopped in front of a photo of Pax. The boy was smiling, holding a small sand bucket. Levi picked up the picture frame and stood in silence for a long moment. "What's his name?" His voice was controlled, but there was something underneath, an electrical current about to explode. "Pax." "How old?" Luna swallowed hard. 4. Levi did the math. She saw the exact moment comprehension crossed his face, his jaw locking, his fingers tightening on the frame, his nostrils flaring. He placed the photo back on the shelf with a frightening calm. Then he turned to her. "He's mine." It wasn't a question. Luna crossed her arms, trying to protect herself. "His father abandoned us." "That's a lie." "Levi, look at me and tell me that boy isn't my son." She couldn't. The words died in her throat. Tears burned behind her eyes, but she refused to let them fall. Levi crossed the room in 2 strides. Suddenly he was in front of her, so close that Luna could feel the heat radiating from his body, his heavy breathing, the contained anger that vibrated in the air between them. "Did you hate me that much?" His voice was a cutting whisper. "Enough to hide a child from me? It wasn't out of hatred. Then why?" She shook her head, unable to answer. How could she explain the fear she felt? The certainty that his family would never accept her. The veiled threats from his grandfather, the insinuations that she was nothing but a gold digger looking to pull a scam. How could she say she ran to protect herself and the baby growing inside her? Levi took another step. His body was now pressed against hers, pushing her against the kitchen counter. His hands gripped the edge of the counter, one on each side of her body, trapping her. 4 years, Luna. 4 years in which my son grew up not knowing I exist. 4 years of first words, first steps, first smiles that I missed. I'm sorry." Her voice failed. "Being sorry doesn't give me that time back." A tear finally escaped. Levi saw it slide down her face, and something in his expression changed. The anger was still there, but now there was something else. Something older, deeper. He raised his hand and touched her face. His fingers traced the path of the tear with a softness that contrasted with the tension in his body. Luna closed her eyes at the contact, her heart beating so hard he could surely hear it. "Why do you still have this effect on me?" he murmured, almost to himself. "After everything you did, why do I still want you like this?" Luna opened her eyes. His face was inches from hers. His brown eyes burned with a mixture of pain and desire that took her breath away. "Levi, please, please, what?" He moved closer, his lips brushing her temple. "Please go away. Please forget me. You know I can't." His hand slid from her face to her neck, his fingers spreading over the sensitive skin. His thumb caressed the spot where her pulse was racing, betraying everything she was trying to hide. "Your heart is racing," he observed. "It's anger. Liar." He smiled, but there was no humor in the gesture. "You lie as badly as you did before." Luna tried to push him away, but he didn't move. Instead, his other hand found her waist, pulling her closer. Their bodies fit together the way they always had, perfectly, inevitably. "Tell me the truth," he whispered against her ear. "Just once in your life, Luna. Tell me why you ran." She was trembling. The heat of his body enveloped her. The scent clouded her thoughts. The husky voice dissolved her defenses one by one. "I was afraid," she admitted in a thread of a voice. "Of me, of your family, of your world, of not being enough." Levi pulled back enough to look into her eyes. There was pain there, genuine pain. "You were everything to me, everything, and you just disappeared." "I know." Tears flowed freely now. "I know. And I regret it every day." He grabbed her chin firmly, forcing her to hold his gaze. "Look at me. Do you think this ends just because you ran? That I'm just going to turn around and let you go again?" Their breaths crossed. Their lips were dangerously close. Luna could feel his hot breath, the desire that pulsed between them like an electrical current. She wanted to kiss him. God, how she wanted to. She wanted to lose herself in him the way she used to, forget everything else, Pretend the last 5 years hadn't happened. But then, she heard a sound. "Mommy!" The sleepy voice came from the hallway. Luna pushed Levi and turned. Pax stood in the kitchen doorway, rubbing his eyes. His dinosaur pajamas rumpled. The boy looked at Levi with curiosity, and Levi looked at his son for the first time. The silence that followed was deafening. 5 years earlier, Luna's world was made of stacked books, overdue bills, and dreams too big for the tiny apartment where she lived. She worked as a curatorial assistant at an art gallery downtown, a job that paid little, but put her close to everything she loved. Colors, textures, stories told in brushstrokes. That's how she met the Blackwoods. The family owned one of the largest private art collections in the country. Mansions, businesses, political influence, they had everything. And when they decided to organize a charity event at their estate, the gallery where Luna worked was hired to help with the curation. The first time Luna crossed through the gates of the Blackwood mansion, she felt like she was entering another universe. The property stretched across acres of immaculate gardens, marble fountains and centuries-old trees. The house itself was a palace, white columns, immense windows, the kind of place that seemed to exist outside of time. She didn't belong there. She knew it. She felt it in every glance from the uniformed staff, in every rug that cost more than her annual salary, in every crystal chandelier that cast rainbows across the walls. But Luna had never been one to back down from challenges. She spent the first week cataloging works, checking lighting, organizing the arrangement of pieces. She worked late, often alone in the silent corridors of the mansion. It was on one of those nights that everything changed. The library was in the East Wing. It was an enormous room with floor-to-ceiling bookshelves, mahogany ladders, and aged leather armchairs. The smell of old paper and polished wood filled the air like perfume. Luna had gone there looking for a reference catalogue and got lost among the shelves, fascinated by the collection. That's when she heard the voice. "You're in the wrong place." Luna turned. A man stood at the library entrance, leaning against the doorframe with his arms crossed. Tall, broad shoulders, dark hair slightly tousled. His face was angular, handsome in a severe way. Defined jaw, dark eyebrows, lips that seemed not to know how to smile. But it was his eyes that held her. Brown, deep, with a gleam of intelligence and something more, something dangerous. Levi Blackwood. The heir. Luna had heard about him. Everyone had. They said he was brilliant and ruthless in business, that he had a difficult temperament. That women threw themselves at his feet, and he simply stepped over them. "Sorry." Luna raised her chin, refusing to show intimidation. "I was looking for a catalogue for the exhibition." "At 11 at night?" "Work doesn't wait." He studied her for a moment. His gaze traveled over her face, the hair pulled back in a loose bun, the simple dress, the hands holding a book against her chest like a shield. Something flickered in his eyes. Curiosity, perhaps. Or amusement. "Which catalogue?" "French Impressionists, 1987 collection." Levi moved away from the door and walked to one of the shelves. His steps were silent on the Persian rug. He climbed a few rungs of the ladder, reached a high shelf, and pulled out a blue, leather-bound volume. "This one?" Luna nodded. He climbed down and approached, extending the book. When she went to take it, their fingers touched. It was like an electric shock. Luna pulled her hand back on instinct. The book almost fell, but Levi was faster. He caught the volume with one hand and her wrist with the other. "Careful." His voice was low, husky. "It's a first edition." "Sorry." Her heart raced. His hand was warm, his fingers firm around her wrist. She could feel her pulse racing and was certain he could feel it too. Levi didn't let go. Instead, he took a step forward. The space between them shrank. Luna could feel the heat radiating from his body, the scent of sandalwood and something citrusy, the breathing that was now heavier. "What's your name?" "Luna. Luna Vega." "Luna." He repeated it as if savoring the word. "Moon. That's what it means. My mother was a romantic." A ghost of a smile crossed his lips. It was the first time Luna saw him show anything beyond coldness. "You're not afraid of me," he observed. It wasn't a question. "Should I be?" "Most people are." "I'm not most people." Something changed in his gaze. The dangerous gleam intensified, but now there was warmth there too. Interest. Desire. Levi released her wrist but didn't step back. His hand rose slowly, and Luna held her breath when his fingers touched her face. He brushed aside a strand of hair that had escaped from her bun and tucked it behind her ear. The touch was gentle, almost reverent, but burned on her skin like fire. "I don't want you to run," he whispered. "Not yet." Luna swallowed hard. "Why would I run?" "Because I'm exactly the kind of man women like you should run from. Women like me. Smart, ambitious, with too much to lose." She should have stepped back. Every instinct screamed to move away, thank him for the book, and leave that library before something irreversible happened. But her feet wouldn't obey. Her body wouldn't obey. Something about him drew her like gravity, inevitable, inescapable. "What if I don't want to run?" The words came out before she could stop them. Levi studied her for a long moment. His eyes traveled over her face as if memorizing every detail. Then he leaned in, bringing his lips close to her ear. "Then you're braver than I imagined, or more reckless." His hot breath caressed the sensitive skin of her neck. Luna closed her eyes. Her heart was beating so hard she was sure he could hear it. Every cell in her body was awake, aware of his proximity, the heat, the danger. "Maybe both," she responded in a thread of a voice. Levi stepped back. Cold air filled the space between them, and Luna almost groaned at the loss. He looked at her one more time, a long, intense look full of unspoken promises. "Good night, Luna." He turned and walked toward the door. "Wait." He stopped, but didn't turn around. "The book," she said. "You didn't give me the book." Levi looked over his shoulder. The smile was back, small, dangerous, devastating. "Come get it tomorrow, same time." And then he was gone. Luna stood in the empty library, her heart stumbling, her skin still burning where he had touched. She knew she should keep her distance. She knew that man was trouble, danger, a road with no return. But when the next night came, she was there, and so was he. The invitation arrived on a Tuesday morning, delivered by a uniformed messenger who seemed more suited to a period film than the simple street where Luna lived. Thick ivory paper, embossed gold lettering, the Blackwood family crest stamped in the upper corner. A charity event at the mansion. Mandatory attendance for everyone involved in the curation. Luna knew it wasn't just about the exhibition, it was about him. Since that night in the library, Levi had become a constant presence and a torturous absence. He appeared in the mansion corridors when she least expected it, always with that look that made her forget her own name. They exchanged brief words, accidental touches that lasted a second longer than they should, silences charged with everything they didn't say. But they were never alone again. Now, looking at the invitation, Luna felt her stomach tighten. She knew she should decline. Make up an excuse, an illness, anything. But the truth was she wanted to go, she wanted to see him. She wanted to feel that chill down her spine when his eyes met hers. It was madness, and she was diving in headfirst. On the day of the event, Luna spent her last savings on a dress. It was dark green silk with a back neckline that dropped to the base of her spine. Simple, but elegant. The kind of piece that made a woman feel powerful. She needed that armor. When she arrived at the mansion, the sun had already set. Lanterns lit the stone path to the entrance where guests in evening wear climbed the steps like characters from a fairy tale. Luna took a deep breath and entered. The main hall had been transformed. Crystal chandeliers poured golden light over tables decorated with white flowers. An orchestra played in the corner, filling the air with soft melodies. Waiters circulated with trays of champagne and canapes. The buzz of conversations mixed with polite laughter, the clinking of glasses, the rustling of expensive dresses. Luna accepted a glass of champagne and positioned herself near one of the works she had helped select. She tried to focus on the work, on the details of the painting, on the lighting she had calculated so carefully. But her eyes kept scanning the room, looking for him. "You look stunning," the voice came from behind. Deep, husky, familiar. Luna's heart raced before she even turned. Levi stood a few steps away, a glass of whiskey in his hand. The black tuxedo seemed to have been sewn directly onto his body. Broad shoulders, narrow waist, every line impeccable. His dark hair was combed back, revealing his angular face, the brown eyes that devoured her shamelessly. "Thank you." Luna raised her chin, feigning a calm she didn't feel. "You don't look bad yourself." One corner of his mouth lifted. "I wasn't talking about the dress." Heat rose up her neck. Luna took a sip of champagne to cover it, but her hand trembled slightly. Levi approached. His scent enveloped her. Sandalwood, leather, something that was only his. He stopped beside her, their shoulders almost touching, and looked at the painting on the wall. "You chose well," he said. "This piece wasn't getting the attention it deserved. Most people don't know how to look properly. And you do." "I try." He turned to her. His eyes traveled over Luna's face, down her neck, over the discreet neckline, back up again. She felt his gaze like a physical touch. "Dance with me." It wasn't a request. Luna hesitated. "I don't think that would be appropriate." "Since when do you care about what's appropriate?" The orchestra began a new song, something slow, melancholic, full of strings that seemed to weep. Levi extended his hand. Long fingers, the shirt cuff impeccably white against his tanned skin. Luna knew she should refuse. Every eye in the room was there, watching, judging, but when her hand met his, nothing else mattered. He led her to the center of the hall. The crowd moved aside, making space. Luna felt the stares, the whispers, but everything seemed distant, muffled, as if she were underwater. Levi pulled her close. One hand found her waist, his fingers spreading over the silk of her dress. The other held her hand, intertwining their fingers. Their bodies fit together as if they'd been made for this. They began to move. Luna had never been a great dancer, but with Levi she didn't need to be. He led with confidence, each step calculated, each movement fluid. Their bodies glided together, separated, came back together. It was like a conversation without words, questions and answers, advances and retreats. His hand dropped a little lower, his fingers grazing the bare skin of her back. Luna held her breath. The touch was light but burned like embers. "You're tense," he murmured. "We're being watched." "So what?" "So what? This could cost me my job." Levi spun her, pulled her back, closer this time. Their bodies were now pressed together, his chest against hers, their breaths mixing. "I would never let that happen. You can't control everything. You'd be surprised." The music continued, wrapping around them like a cocoon. Luna could feel his heart beating against hers, strong, steady. His fingers at her waist tightened, possessive. His lips brushed her temple and she closed her eyes. "You still feel it, don't you?" His voice was a warm whisper against her skin. "Because I do. Every damn night." Luna shuddered. The words hit her like waves, dissolving the defenses she had built so carefully. "Levi, every night I close my eyes and I see you in that library. I smell your hair. I remember the way you looked at me, without fear, without backing down. And I wonder what it would be like to have all of you." Her hand gripped his shoulder, her nails dug into the fabric of his tuxedo. She was losing control. She could feel the walls crumbling, common sense evaporating. "This is insane," she whispered. "I know. It won't work." "Probably not." "Then why are we doing this?" Levi pulled back enough to look into her eyes. The brown was dark, liquid, full of a desire that took her breath away. "Because I can't stay away from you. Believe me, I tried." The music came to an end. The last chords died in the air. Around them people applauded, but Luna barely heard. The world had shrunk to fit only in his eyes. Levi held her hand firmly, fingers intertwined, warm, possessive. "Come with me," he said. Luna knew what would happen if she went. She knew she would cross a line from which there was no return. But when he led her out of the hall, she followed, because the truth was simple and terrifying. She was already lost. And maybe she always had been. The silence in the kitchen was thick, charged with everything that had just happened. Luna still felt the heat of Levi's body against hers, his hot breath in her ear, the words that had dissolved her defenses. But now Pax was there, standing in the doorway with sleepy eyes and his rumpled dinosaur pajamas, and the real world had come back with brutal force. Levi didn't move. His eyes were fixed on the boy, absorbing every detail, every feature, every resemblance that couldn't be coincidence. His jaw locked, his hands closed into fists at his sides. Luna could see the storm forming behind that gaze, anger and pain fighting for space. "Mommy? Who's that?" Pax's voice was curious, without fear. He looked at Levi with the frankness that only children have. Luna swallowed the lump in her throat. "He's a friend of Mommy's, sweetheart. Can you go back to bed?" "But I want water." Before Luna could move, Levi took a step forward. The movement was slow, deliberate, as if he were approaching something precious and fragile. He crouched down in front of the boy, getting at eye level with him. "I'll get it for you," Levi said. His voice was soft, completely different from the tone he used with Luna. "What's your name?" "Pax." "Pax. That's a strong name." Levi extended his hand. "I'm Levi." The boy shook his hand with the solemnity of someone doing something very important. Luna watched the scene with her heart in pieces. Father and son, face to face for the first time, and neither of them knew. Or rather, Pax didn't know. Levi was already certain. Levi stood up and went to the cabinet. He got a glass, filled it with water, and returned to the boy. Pax drank in big gulps, his eyes still fixed on the stranger who had appeared in the kitchen. "You're big," Pax observed, returning the glass. "I am." "You're bigger than Mommy." "A little." "Do you like dinosaurs?" Levi looked at the boy's pajamas. A small smile, genuine, crossed his lips. "I do." "What's your favorite?" "T-Rex, because he's the strongest." "Makes sense. Mine is the Velociraptor, because he's fast and smart." Pax considered the information seriously. Then he nodded, as if Levi had passed some important test. "Do you like airplanes?" Levi asked. The boy's eyes widened. "I really do. I have one, a real airplane." "No way." "Yes way. One day I'll take you flying, if your mom lets me." Pax turned to Luna, his face lit up with hope. "Mommy, can I? Please, can I?" Luna couldn't speak. Her throat was closed, her eyes burning. Seeing Levi with Pax, the patience, the kindness, the instant connection, was more than she could bear. Everything he had missed, everything she had taken from him. "We'll talk about it later, sweetheart." Her voice came out strangled. "Right now you need to go back to bed." Pax made a protesting pout but was too tired to insist. Luna picked him up, feeling the small arms wrap around her neck. He was heavy now, no longer a baby, but still small enough to be carried. "Say bye to Levi," she said. "Bye, Levi." Pax waved over her shoulder. "Don't forget about the airplane." "I won't forget." Levi's voice was firm. A promise. Luna carried Pax back to the bedroom. She tucked in the blanket, kissed his forehead, turned on the moon-shaped nightlight. She stayed there for a moment, watching her son sleep, gathering courage for what would come next. When she returned to the kitchen, Levi was standing at the window, his back to her. His shoulders were tense, hands in his pockets. His silhouette against the dim streetlight was of someone fighting to maintain control. "Levi, don't!" The word cut through the air. He turned around. His eyes were red, his jaw so locked she could see the muscle pulsing. "Don't come to me with excuses now." "I wasn't going to." "He's my son, Luna. Mine." His voice trembled. "And you let him grow up thinking his father abandoned you." The tears came before she could stop them. I know I was wrong." "Wrong?" Levi took a step forward, then another, until he was right in front of her. "You stole 4 years from me. First words, first steps. The first time he called someone dad—" "Oh wait, he never called anyone dad, did he?" "Because you made him believe he didn't have one. I was trying to protect him. From me. From your family." The words exploded. "From your grandfather, who made it very clear that I was nothing but a gold digger. From your mother, who looked at me like I was trash. From that whole world that would crush my son the same way it tried to crush me." Levi fell silent. Heavy breathing, clenched fists. "You could have told me," he said finally. "You could have trusted me. And what would you have done? Faced your family? Given up everything for a woman you'd known for a few months?" "Yes." The answer was immediate. Absolute. Luna felt it like a punch to the stomach. Yes, Levi repeated. I would have left everything. For you. For him. You never gave me the chance to choose. The silence that followed was suffocating. Luna wanted to argue, defend herself, explain all the nights she cried alone, all the times she picked up the phone to call and gave up, all the fear that paralyzed her. But the words wouldn't come, because deep down, she knew he was right. Levi moved closer. His hands found her face, holding with a firmness that was almost painful. His thumbs wiped away the tears that were falling. I lost 4 years. His voice was hoarse, broken. 4 years I won't get back, but I'm still here, Luna. Still here, and I'm not going anywhere. She sobbed. Her hands grabbed his wrists, holding on as if she would drown without that anchor. Forgive me, she whispered. Please, forgive me. Levi pressed his forehead to hers. Their breaths mingled, hot, wet with tears. I don't know if I can, he admitted, but I'll try. For him, and maybe for us. His lips brushed hers, light. A promise, not a kiss. A beginning, not an end. But when he pulled away and left, Luna knew nothing would be simple. Because forgiveness doesn't erase the past. It only gives the future a chance. The rain began late in the afternoon, when the sky was still fighting against the dark clouds advancing from the sea. Luna was in the kitchen preparing dinner when she heard the first thunderclaps, deep, distant, like a warning. Pax ran to the window, fascinated by the lightning cutting across the horizon. Mommy, look! The sky is angry. Luna forced a smile. It's just a storm, sweetheart. It'll pass. But she knew it wasn't just about the weather. There was another storm forming, one that had been building since that night in the kitchen, since Levi discovered the truth about Pax. In recent days, he had shown up every day. He brought gifts for the boy, spent hours playing with him, building a connection that Luna watched with a mixture of relief and terror. Levi was becoming a father, and the more he grew closer to Pax, the more Luna felt the ground shake beneath her feet. Because she knew it couldn't last. The Blackwood family wasn't just going to accept it. Levi's grandfather, especially, a man who controlled everything and everyone with an iron fist. When he found out about Pax, he would come after her. He would come to take her son away. The only solution was to run. Again. Luna had already started packing in secret. Documents, money, some clothes. She planned to leave over the weekend when Levi was busy with company business. She would go far away, another country if necessary. She would start over, like she had done before. But that night, while the storm raged outside, Levi showed up without warning. Luna heard the car pull up, the footsteps on the porch, the firm knock at the door. Her heart raced. She dried her hands and went to open it, already rehearsing an excuse to send him away. But when she saw his face, the words died. Levi was drenched. The rain had plastered his shirt to his body, outlining every muscle. His dark hair dripped, his eyes burned with an intensity that made her step back. You're going to run again. It wasn't a question. Luna felt her blood freeze. What? Don't lie to me. He entered without being invited, bringing the smell of rain and anger. I saw the suitcases, saw the documents. You're planning to disappear. She backed up against the wall. Levi, listen to me. No. His voice cut like a blade. I listened to you last time. Listened to your excuses, your fears, your justifications. And you disappeared anyway. You took my son and disappeared. I had no choice. You always had a choice. He took a step forward, then another until he was so close that Luna could feel the heat of his body, even through his wet clothes. You chose to run, chose to leave me, chose to raise our son alone instead of trusting me. The tears came, hot and inevitable. Your family. To hell with my family. The shout echoed through the house. Levi closed his eyes, took a deep breath, fighting for control. When he spoke again, his voice was low, hoarse. To hell with my grandfather, my mother, the money, the name, everything. None of it matters. None of it ever mattered. Luna shook her head. You don't understand. They'll take Pax from me. They'll use the money, the lawyers, the influence. And you think running will stop that? Levi grabbed her shoulders, forcing her to face him. You think I'm going to let you take my son away from me again? So that's it? You want to take him from me too? I want to be with both of you, you stubborn woman. The silence that followed was deafening. Only the rain beating on the roof, distant thunder, their heavy breathing. Luna stared at him. His eyes were red, desperate. There was no anger there, not anymore. There was fear. Fear of losing her, fear of losing Pax, fear that she would disappear once more and he would never find her. Levi. Her voice failed. Don't run from me. His hands moved from her shoulders to her face, holding with desperation. Please, Luna. Not again. I won't survive it again. She was trembling. His wet shirt was soaking her blouse, but she didn't care. The heat of his body passed through the fabric, burned her skin, dissolved the defenses she had built. I'm scared, she confessed in a whisper. Me too. He pressed his forehead to hers. I'm scared too, of everything, of making mistakes, of hurting you, of not being the father Pax deserves. But I'd rather be scared with you than be certain without you. A tear rolled down Luna's face. Levi wiped it away with his thumb, the touch so gentle it hurt. Stay, he pleaded. Stay with me. Let me fight for you both. What if it doesn't work? What if it does? Luna closed her eyes. The rain roared outside, thunder shook the windows, the world seemed to be falling apart. But there in his arms there was something solid, something real. She lifted her face. His eyes were so close, dark, intense, full of everything she had run from for 5 years. Fear, desire, love, all mixed in a storm that mirrored the one happening outside. You still love me, he said. It wasn't a question. Don't lie. Your body already answered. She didn't lie. Instead, she kissed him. The kiss was like the storm, furious, inevitable, devastating. Their mouths met with desperation, lips wet with rain and tears. Levi's hands buried themselves in her hair, pulling, holding. Luna's hands grabbed his soaked shirt, bringing him closer, always closer. They kissed as if the world were ending. Maybe it was. Maybe that kiss was the end of everything they had been and the beginning of everything they could be. When they finally separated, both were breathless. Wet, trembling, destroyed and rebuilt at the same time. Levi pressed his forehead to hers, his heavy breathing mixed with hers. Don't run, he repeated. Luna held his face between her hands. Eyes on eyes, the truth finally bare between them. I won't run, she promised. Never again. Outside, the storm continued, but inside something had calmed, and something new had begun. The storm still raged outside when Levi picked her up in his arms. Luna wrapped her arms around his neck, her legs around his waist, her lips still locked on his as he carried her down the hallway. Her back hit the wall once, twice. Brief pauses where he pressed her against the cold surface, hands exploring, mouths hungry. They reached the bedroom stumbling, never separating. The door closed with a kick. Darkness enveloped them, cut only by the lightning that crossed through the curtains and illuminated fragments. His face, her hands, their intertwined bodies. Levi put her down slowly, their bodies sliding against each other. Luna felt every inch of him, the firm chest, the tense muscles under the wet shirt, the heat radiating despite the soaked fabric. His hands found the hem of her blouse and stopped. Their eyes met in the dark. Are you sure? His voice was hoarse, controlled by a thread. He was holding back, she could see, waiting for permission, waiting for her to choose. Luna answered by pulling off her own blouse. The cold air touched her exposed skin for a second before his hands covered it, warm, firm, reverent. He touched her as if she were something precious, his fingers tracing the line of her shoulders, down her arms, up her waist. Each touch was a question, each sigh from her an answer. 5 years, he murmured against her neck. His lips grazed the sensitive skin, sending shivers down her spine. 5 years dreaming of this. Luna closed her eyes. Her hands found the buttons of his shirt. Trembling fingers, clumsy with urgency. 1 button, 2, 3. The shirt opened, and she finally touched the warm skin underneath. The muscles contracted under her fingers. His breathing failed. Luna. The name came out like a prayer. She pushed the shirt off his shoulders and let it fall to the floor. The lightning illuminated the exposed body. Broad shoulders, defined chest, a trail of dark hair descending down his abdomen. He was even more beautiful than she remembered. More man, more real. Levi pulled her close, skin against skin finally. The heat was almost unbearable, delicious, addictive. Their bodies fit together as if they had never been apart, every curve finding its place, every emptiness being filled. He kissed her again. Slowly this time, deep, exploring. His tongue found hers in a rhythm that promised other things. Luna moaned against his mouth, her nails scratching his back, asking for more. Levi led her to the bed. He laid her down carefully, his body covering hers without crushing. The weight was comforting, protective. Luna opened her eyes and found his, dark, dilated, full of a desire that took her breath away. "Tell me I'm still yours," he pleaded in a whisper. "You never stopped being mine." Something broke in him. The control he had maintained until then crumbled. He kissed her with hunger, with desperation, with 5 years of longing compressed into a single moment. His hands traveled over her body, memorizing every curve, every response, every sigh. Luna arched against him. Her whole body pulsed, every nerve alive, every cell begging for more contact. She pulled at his belt, clumsy, impatient. He helped her, quick movements, clothes discarded, until there was nothing left between them. The sensation of skin against skin completely was overwhelming. Luna closed her eyes and lost herself in the sensations. His weight on her, the heat, the scent, the texture. His lips descended down her neck, her chest, the valley between her breasts. Each kiss was a mark, a claim. "Look at me," he asked. She opened her eyes. He was propped on his elbows, his face inches from hers. His wet hair fell over his forehead. His eyes burned. "I need to see you," he said. "I need to know it's real." Luna touched his face. The stubble scratched her palm. He was real. He was there. After 5 years of dreams and regrets, he was there. "It's real," she whispered. "I'm here." He entered her slowly. Luna held her breath. Not from pain, but from fullness, as if a part of her that had been missing had finally returned to its place. He stopped, letting her adjust, his forehead pressed to hers, his breathing heavy. "Are you okay?" His voice was tense, controlled. "Yes." She wrapped her legs around his waist, pulling him deeper. "Don't stop." He didn't stop. They started slowly, long, deep movements that made Luna see stars. But soon the rhythm increased. Urgency took over. 5 years of distance, of longing, of nights alone thinking of each other. Everything exploded in a fire that consumed them both. Luna clung to him, nails on his back, legs around his waist, moans muffled in his shoulder. Levi murmured her name like a prayer, his hips meeting hers in a rhythm that took her higher and higher. The thunder outside merged with their heartbeats. The lightning illuminated their intertwined bodies in flashes, sweat, skin, movement. The room smelled of rain and desire. The sheets tangled around them like silent witnesses. Luna felt the pressure building, a warm wave rising until it became unbearable. She dug her nails into Levi's back, her whole body tense on the edge of the abyss. "Let me see you," he pleaded against her ear. "Let me see you lose yourself." She lost herself. The orgasm hit her like the lightning outside, sudden, blinding, devastating. She screamed his name, her body arching, her muscles contracting around him. Levi followed seconds later, burying his face in her neck, his body trembling with the force of his own release. They stayed like that for a long moment. Bodies intertwined, breaths mingled, hearts beating in sync. The storm continued outside, but inside there was only silence and warmth. Levi raised himself on his elbows and looked at her. His eyes were soft now, satisfied. He brushed a strand of hair from her face and kissed her forehead, her eyelids the tip of her nose. "I love you," he said. Simple, true. "I never stopped loving you." Luna felt the tears come, but this time they were from relief, not sadness. I love you too, she responded. I always have. He smiled, a genuine smile, without shadows, and he kissed her once more. Outside, the storm was beginning to pass. But inside, something new was just beginning. The storm had passed. The rain was now just a soft murmur on the roof, a farewell melody cradling the night. The room was dark, warm, soaked with the scent of both of them, sweat, perfume, satisfied desire. The sheets were rumpled, tangled around their bodies like a cocoon of white cotton. Luna lay on Levi's chest, her ear over his heart, listening to the slow, steady, comforting beats. His hand stroked her hair in lazy movements, his fingers getting lost among the dark strands. It was a simple gesture, almost unconscious, but it said more than 1,000 words. She didn't want to move, didn't want to break this moment. For 5 years, she had dreamed of this, being in his arms, feeling the warmth of his skin, the safety of his embrace. Now that she was finally there, it seemed unreal, too fragile, as if it could dissolve at any moment. "You're thinking too loud," Levi murmured. His voice was hoarse with sleep, deep. "How do you know?" "Because you always furrowed your brow when you thought too much. You're doing it now." Luna smiled against his chest. He still knew her. After everything, he still remembered. "I'm thinking about how we got here," she admitted. "Here where? In bed? In life? To this moment?" She raised her head to look at him. His eyes were closed, his dark lashes casting shadows on his cheekbones. "It feels like a dream." Levi opened his eyes. The brown was soft, liquid, full of a peace she rarely saw in him. "If it's a dream, don't wake me up." Luna felt her chest tighten. How many nights had he spent alone, thinking of her? How many times had he closed his eyes, imagining this moment, only to wake up and find emptiness? She had done this to him. She had caused this pain. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "For what? For everything. For running away, for hiding Pax, for making you suffer." Levi was silent for a moment. The hand stroking her hair stopped, then started again. "I'm not going to lie," he said slowly. "It hurt. It still hurts sometimes. When I look at Pax and think about everything I missed." Luna swallowed the lump in her throat. "I know. But..." He pulled her up until their faces were at the same height, eyes on eyes, breaths mixing. "But I understand why you did it. I don't agree. I don't approve. But I understand. You were scared. My family can be difficult." Difficult is an understatement. A sad smile crossed his lips. "It is, but that's not going to be a problem anymore." "What do you mean?" "I'm going to fix it. I don't know how yet, but I will." His hand found her face, his thumb caressing her cheek. "No one is going to take you from me again. Not my grandfather, not my mother, not fear. No one." Luna felt the tears come. Hot, inevitable. She had spent so long carrying this weight alone. The fear, the guilt, the loneliness. Hearing him say that with such certainty was like having an immense weight lifted from her shoulders. "I don't deserve you," she whispered. "Probably not." He smiled, and this time there was humor there. "But I don't deserve you either. So we're even." She laughed, even with tears running down her face. Levi wiped away the tears with his lips. Soft kisses on her cheeks, eyelids, the corner of her mouth. "Stop crying," he asked. "I hate when you cry." "These are good tears." "They're still tears." Luna nestled against him again, her face in his neck. The scent of his skin was comforting, familiar, home. He smelled like home. His fingers went back to tracing patterns on her back, invisible lines, shapeless drawings. Luna closed her eyes and focused on the sensation, the light touch, the warmth, the silent intimacy. "Levi? Why didn't you let me go before? Back then, in the library, you could have ignored me. It would have been easier." He was silent for a moment. His hand kept moving, but she felt the subtle tension in his muscles. "Because I never wanted a version of myself without you," he said finally. "From the moment you looked at me in that library, without fear, without backing down, I knew. I knew you were going to change everything. Change how? I can't explain it. You made me want to be better, to be more than the Blackwood heir, more than the guy everyone feared. When you looked at me, I felt like I could be more. Luna raised her head. He was staring at the ceiling, his eyes distant. And then you left, he continued, his voice low. And I went back to what I was before, cold, closed off, focused only on work and money. I tried to move on, but I couldn't. Every woman I looked at I compared to you. Every conversation felt empty. You ruined me for anyone else. Levi, I'm not blaming you. He finally looked at her. I'm explaining why I can't let you go. Why I'm going to fight for us no matter what comes. Luna leaned in and kissed him, soft, slow, full of everything she couldn't put into words. Gratitude, love, regret, hope. He returned it the same way. Soft lips, gentle tongue, a kiss that was both promise and forgiveness. When they separated, they were silent for a long moment. Just their breathing, their heartbeats, the sound of the rain that was now almost imperceptible. What do we do now? Luna asked. Now we sleep. He pulled her closer, settling her against his body as if she were made to be there. Tomorrow we'll figure out the rest. What if the rest is complicated? It will be. But we'll handle it together. Together. The word echoed in Luna's mind like a promise. For 5 years she had done everything alone. Decisions, fears, escapes. Now there was someone beside her. Someone who wasn't going to let her run. She closed her eyes and allowed herself to relax. Levi's body was warm, solid, a safe harbor after so many storms. His arm wrapped around her, protective. Luna. I love you. She smiled, her eyes still closed. I love you too. The silence that followed was different from all the silences they had shared before. It wasn't tense, it wasn't painful. It was peace and promise. Outside, the clouds were parting and the first stars were beginning to appear. Morning arrived grey, the sun struggling to break through the clouds still hanging over the coastal town. Luna woke up alone in bed, the sheets still warm where Levi had been. For a moment of panic, she thought he had left, that the previous night had been just another cruel dream. But then she heard voices in the kitchen, one deep, one high-pitched, and laughter. She got up, put on a robe, and went there. The scene she found made her heart stop. Levi was at the stove, a spatula in his hand, trying to flip a pancake that clearly wasn't cooperating. Pax was sitting on the counter next to him, his little legs swinging, his eyes shining with amusement as he watched the culinary disaster. You have to flip it faster, Pax instructed with the authority of his 4 years. I am flipping fast. No, you're not. Mommy flips faster. Mommy has more practice. You need to practice more then. Levi looked at the boy with an expression of mock indignation that made Pax burst into laughter. The sound filled the kitchen like music, pure, joyful, without shadows. Luna leaned against the doorframe, watching in silence, her chest so full it hurt. This was what she had taken from Levi. This was what he had missed for 5 years. Mornings like this, laughter like this, the simplicity of making pancakes with his own son. Levi finally saw her. His eyes softened, a smile crossed his lips. Good morning. Good morning. She approached, kissed Pax's forehead, then brushed her lips against Levi's. Pancakes? Attempted pancakes, he corrected. Your son is a harsh critic. I told you you need to practice, Pax repeated, as if that settled the matter. Luna laughed. But the lightness didn't last long, because at that moment her phone rang, an unknown number. She answered by reflex, and her blood froze in her veins. Miss Vega. The voice was cold, cutting, terribly familiar. Or should I call you by your real name? Richard Blackwood, Levi's grandfather. Luna moved away from the kitchen, her heart racing. How did you get this number? I can get anything I want, dear. You should know that by now. A calculated pause. I know my grandson spent the night there. I know about the child. And I know you plan to use that bastard to pull a scam on my family. Pax isn't... Spare me. I saw Levi's investigators, saw the reports. I know exactly what you are. An opportunist who got pregnant on purpose to secure a lifetime pension. Anger rose up Luna's throat, hot and bitter. You don't know anything about me. I know enough, and I'm going to give you some advice free of charge. Disappear. Take the money I'm going to deposit in your account and vanish with that child before I'm forced to take more drastic measures. What kind of measures? I have the best lawyers in the country. I can prove you're a negligent, unstable mother, incapable of raising a child. I can take that boy from you and make sure you never see him again. Do you really want to test how far I'll go? Luna was trembling, with anger, fear, helplessness. Everything she had feared, everything that had made her run 5 years ago, it was happening. Luna! Levi's voice came from the hallway. He appeared beside her, his face tense. He had heard. Who is it? She hung up the phone without answering. Her hands were shaking so much she almost dropped the device. It was my grandfather. It wasn't a question. Luna nodded. Tears came before she could stop them. He's going to take Pax from me. He said he's going to prove I'm negligent. That... Hey. Levi held her face with both hands, forcing her to look at him. Breathe. Look at me. And breathe. I need to leave. The words came pouring out. I need to get Pax and disappear before... You're not going anywhere. Levi, you don't understand. Your grandfather... I understand perfectly. I know my grandfather better than anyone. His eyes were hard, determined. And that's exactly why you're not going to run. Running is what he wants. If you disappear, he wins. And if I stay, he destroys me. Not if I destroy him first. Luna blinked. The certainty in his voice made her stop. What? Levi took a deep breath. His hands moved down to her shoulders, holding firmly. My grandfather has controlled the family for decades. He uses fear, money, and manipulation, but he only has power because we let him, because no one has ever really stood up to him. His eyes burned. That ends today. Levi, I'm going to talk to him, in person, and I'm going to make it very clear that if he touches you or Pax, he's going to lose a lot more than an heir. He won't accept. He doesn't have a choice. Levi pulled her close, his arms wrapping around her. I'm not going to lose you, not again. I'll break with the entire family if I have to, give up the money, the company, the name. None of it matters. Luna sobbed against his chest. You can't do that. It's your family. You're my family. He pulled back to look into her eyes. You and Pax. The rest is just noise. She wanted to believe. God, how she wanted to. But the fear was still there, coiled in her chest like a serpent. What if it's not enough? It will be. He kissed her forehead. Trust me. Just this once, trust me. Luna closed her eyes. Her whole life she had trusted only herself. She had learned that depending on others only led to disappointment. But there, in his arms, she felt something she hadn't felt in a long time. Hope. Okay, she whispered. I trust you. Levi hugged her tighter. His heart beat firmly against hers. Steady, secure. I'm going to fix this, he promised. And when it's over, we'll start again. No fear, no secrets, just the three of us. The three of us. The words echoed in Luna's mind like a prayer, and for the first time in 5 years she chose to stay. 1 year later, Luna's world was unrecognizable. The house sat on a gentle slope that descended to the beach. White walls, wide windows that let the sun stream in golden beams, a wooden deck that embraced the structure like a permanent invitation to sit and contemplate the sea. The smell of salt was in everything, in the linen curtains swaying with the breeze on Pax's skin when he came running back from the sand, in Levi's hair when he hugged her from behind in the late afternoon. It was the kind of place Luna never imagined she would have. For years her life had been small apartments, constant moves, glances over her shoulder. Now for the first time she had a permanent address, a home, a family. That morning Luna was in the studio Levi had built for her at the back of the house. A room full of natural light, easels, canvases in different stages of creation, the smell of oil paint that always calmed her. She had gone back to painting, not as work, but as passion. The paintings were starting to gain attention. Galleries were reaching out, but that didn't matter as much as the act itself. Creating, expressing, finally having space to be herself. She was working on a new canvas, shades of blue and gold, the sea at dawn, when she heard Pax's laughter outside. Loud, pure, contagious. The sound she loved most in the world. Luna wiped her hands and went to the window. Pax was running on the sand, chasing seagulls that took flight in a chaos of white wings. He had grown in the past year, taller, more confident, more talkative. The new school had been good for him, the friends, the routine, the stability. But the biggest change had been something else. Now he had a father. Levi appeared in Luna's field of vision, walking on the sand toward his son. He wore a white t-shirt and shorts, barefoot, his hair tousled by the wind. He looked younger like this, lighter. The tension he had always carried in his shoulders had dissipated over the months, replaced by something Luna could only describe as peace. Pax saw his father and ran toward him. Levi picked him up, spun him in the air, and the boy's laughter echoed across the beach. Luna felt her eyes burn. How many times had she imagined this scene? How many nights had she cried thinking about everything Pax was missing, everything she was denying him? Now she didn't need to imagine anymore. It was real, it was there, happening every day. She left the studio and went down to the beach. The sand was warm under her feet, the sun golden on her face. Pax saw her first. "Mommy, look what I found." He ran to her holding a shell, large pink in a perfect spiral. "It's the prettiest one I've ever seen." "It's beautiful, sweetheart." Luna crouched down to examine it. "Should we add it to the collection?" "Yes, but this one's going to be the main one, the queen of them all. The queen of shells, I like it." Pax ran off toward the house, the shell pressed against his chest like a treasure. Luna stood up and found Levi beside her, his eyes following their son. "He's happy," Levi said. It wasn't a question. "He is. Very. And you?" Luna looked at him. The face she had memorized on so many lonely nights, the brown eyes that still took her breath away, the lips that knew every inch of her body. He looked at her with that quiet intensity that was only his, as if she were the only thing in the world that mattered. "I've never been happier," she answered. "Sometimes I'm afraid I'll wake up and find out it was all a dream." Levi moved closer. His arms wrapped around her waist, pulling her close. The warmth of his body, the scent of his skin, the solidity of his embrace, all so familiar now, so essential. "It's not a dream," he said against her hair. "It's just the beginning." Luna rested her head on his chest. His heart beat firmly, steadily. The most comforting sound she knew. "Today marks 1 year," she said. "I know. 1 year since the storm, since I decided to stay. The best decision you ever made." She laughed. Cocky, realistic. He pulled back enough to look into her eyes. "You saved me, Luna, you and Pax. I was becoming my grandfather. Cold, controlling, alone. You brought me back." The tears came, hot and inevitable, but they were good tears, of gratitude, relief, love. "You saved me too," she whispered. "You showed me I didn't have to run forever, that I could trust, that I could stay." Levi held her face with both hands. His thumbs wiped away the tears with their usual gentleness. "I love you," he said. "More than I've ever loved anything in my life, and I'm going to spend the rest of my days proving it. Every day. Until you get tired of hearing it. I'll never get tired." He smiled. That rare, genuine smile that was only for her. And he kissed her. The kiss was different from the ones they had exchanged before. It wasn't desperate. It wasn't urgent. It was calm, secure. The kind of kiss that came after storms, when the dust had settled and only certainty remained. Soft lips, gentle tongues. A meeting that was both promise and confirmation. When they separated, they were silent for a moment. The sea whispered on the sand, the seagulls cried in the sky, the wind brought the smell of salt and freedom. "Mommy, Dad, look!" They turned. Pax was on the deck, holding the shell above his head like a trophy. "It sparkles in the sun," he shouted. "It looks like magic." Luna laughed. Levi pulled her close, his arm around her shoulders. "It really does," he agreed, but his eyes were on her. Magic. They went up to the house together. Pax chatted about the shell, about the seagulls, about the sandcastle he wanted to build after lunch. Levi responded with infinite patience, asking questions, suggesting towers and moats. Luna watched the two of them, her heart so full it barely fit in her chest. This was what she had almost lost, what she had run from, what she had almost let slip away out of fear. But not anymore. Now she was home, with the people she loved, building a life worth living. And when Levi looked at her over his shoulder and smiled, that smile that was only hers, Luna knew their story was just beginning. The desire had never disappeared. But now it was sustained by something stronger: love, freedom, truth, and the certainty that, whatever happened, they would face it together. Forever. Sometimes, love doesn't arrive gently. It invades, disarms, destroys everything we've built to protect ourselves. Luna ran for 5 years, thinking distance would cure what she felt. Levi searched for her in every city, in every face, refusing to accept that she had left. Both carried scars, from choices, from fears, from silences that lasted too long. But when they finally found each other again, they discovered that some wounds only heal when we stop running from them. And maybe that's what true love demands. Not perfection, but courage. The courage to stay, to trust, to surrender even knowing it might hurt. Because in the end, what remains isn't the pain. It's the choice to love anyway. And you? Have you ever let fear decide for you? If this story touched your heart, subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Every gesture helps us continue bringing stories that move you. Comment and let us know where you're listening from. We love knowing who's on the other side. And if you felt it was really worth it, click the super thanks button. Your presence makes all the difference. Thank you for staying until the end.